Technology is evolving faster than ever before, and the future isn't just bright, it's blazing. In a world where innovation isn't optional, we're on the edge of a huge shift in how we live, think, and connect. From next-gen artificial intelligence to breakthrough biotech, a wave of developing technologies is set to transform every part of human life. So join us for today's video as we dive into 15 emerging technologies that will change our world. Let's start this countdown with number 15, digital twins. What if your body had a backup file? That's the idea behind digital twins, a technology that maps every measurable part of your health into a dynamic 3D model. And companies like QBio are already building it. Their full-body scanner measures hundreds of biomarkers in under an hour. Hormone levels, liver fat, inflammation, cancer markers, you name it. But it's not just data collection. Over time, your digital twin becomes a timeline of your health, tracking how your body evolves and catching problems before they show symptoms. Imagine a doctor diagnosing an issue not by symptoms, but by watching a change in your body's pattern months earlier. It's not miracle, but mind. No more reactive treatments. No more vague symptoms. It's personalized care based on your actual biology, updated in real time. This tech doesn't just promise better care, it could break the cycle of late diagnoses and save lives through pure, precise prevention. Number 14, 3D printing. 3D printing didn't just sneak into manufacturing, it kicked the door in. What started as a tool for prototypes is now a full-blown production force. It creates complex parts directly from digital files, layer by layer, with almost no wasted material. No molds, no warehouses full of spare parts, just precision, speed, and flexibility. Auto companies use it to build tools, components, and even end-use parts. Engineers can now move from design to physical product without ever leaving their desks. In aerospace, medicine, and even food tech, 3D printing is changing the rules. At Columbia University, researchers printed and laser-cooked a 7-layer cheesecake using edible inks. It's fun, sure, but it also shows how personalized, nutritious meals might be made on demand in the future. The promise? Decentralized, hyper-efficient manufacturing that fits on a desktop. In fact, Japan has created a complete railway station using 3D tech, and it's earthquake-proof. Number 13, smell VR. Virtual reality has eyes and ears, but now it's growing a nose. At City University of Hong Kong, researchers developed a wearable system that lets users smell digital experiences. Using odor-infused wax and heat-controlled release, their device emits scents in real time, creating a full sensory VR world. One version mounts below the nose, while another covers the entire face with a matrix of programmable smells. Imagine walking through a virtual forest and smelling pine, watching a cafe scene and catching the aroma of coffee, learning biology by virtually entering an ecosystem and inhaling the scent of flora and fauna. The implications are huge for education, therapy, gaming, and even immersive film. Smell is the most emotionally evocative sense, yet tech has barely touched it, until now. This isn't just a gimmick, it's about bringing digital spaces closer to how we naturally experience reality. If smell can be coded, everything can be. Number 12, Mojo Vision's AR contact lens. Mojo Vision isn't trying to upgrade your phone, it's trying to upgrade you. Their prototype, a contact lens packed with more tech than an early smartphone. We're talking wireless radios, a battery, a tiny projector, and image sensors, all crammed into something the size of a fingertip. The goal is real-time AR info beamed directly into your line of sight. No glasses, no headsets, just blink and boom. Directions, health data, translations, or even vision corrections appear in front of you. It's like merging your eyes with a computer. But squeezing all that power into a lens isn't exactly plug and play. Mojo Vision is still wrestling with battery life, micro displays, and making sure users don't feel like they've got a robot eye. If they nail it, though, this might be the moment AR stops looking like science fiction and starts living in your cornea. The future of wearable tech? Well, it might not be something you wear. It might be something you are. Number 11. Self-healing concrete. Well, we all know concrete cracks. It always has and it always will. But what if it didn't stay cracked? That's the magic behind self-healing concrete. Yes, concrete that fixes itself. This isn't science fiction. Engineers have figured out how to mix special bacteria into the concrete itself. When cracks form, moisture and air sneak in and activate the bacteria, which then produce a natural limestone-like material that fills the gaps. No human is needed, no costly repairs. It's a simple idea with massive consequences. Structures last longer, maintenance drops, and in places where sending a repair crew isn't easy, like remote outposts or disaster zones, this could be a game changer. It's not just clever, it's sustainable. Longer-lasting materials mean fewer rebuilds and less waste. For an industry as massive and stubborn as construction, that's revolutionary. This material doesn't just sit there and degrade, it adapts, reacts, and restores itself. The future of infrastructure might not be built tougher, it might be built smarter. Number 10. Spin launch. Launching satellites has always been a fuel-guzzling, high-stakes gamble. Spin launch wants to throw that whole playbook out, literally. Their idea? Ditch the rocket engines and hurl satellites into space using a high-speed spinning arm. It's powered by electricity, uses kinetic energy, and flings payloads at over 5 times the speed of sound. No fuel tanks, no rocket stages, just pure, raw launch power. Their test site in New Mexico, Spaceport America, has already seen real results. NASA even got involved. The machine itself is a massive steel beast, about 33 meters wide, and it looks more like a sci-fi prop than a serious piece of aerospace tech. But it works. Payloads were launched and recovered without combustion or chemical boosters. Sure, there are challenges. Getting something into orbit with a glorified slingshot isn't exactly easy. But if spin launch scales up and refines the system, it could redefine space access, making launches cheaper, cleaner, and far more frequent. Space might finally go budget-friendly. Number 9. Self-driving systems. The race for self-driving dominance is already crowded, and it's only getting more intense. From Tesla's bold consumer rollout to Waymo's cautious but massive testing runs in Arizona, the dream of autonomous driving is shifting from lab curiosity to public battleground. While some hail it as the future of safe, efficient travel, others see a reckless gamble. Crashes, regulatory backlash, and public skepticism still haunt the headlines. Chinese players like Pony.ai and DeepRoute.ai are already fielding robo-taxis in chaotic city streets, dodging rush hour madness and rain-soaked curves. Meanwhile, Honda quietly dropped Japan's first commercial self-driving car, slipping autonomy into the mainstream. But here's the real question. Will people trust a machine to steer their lives? As tech giants burn millions into perfecting sensors and AI brains, it's not just about who gets there first. It's about who earns the public's trust and makes the tech invisible. Number 8. Long-distance touch. We've nailed video calls, voice messages, and live streams. But touch? That's still stuck in the Stone Age. Now, researchers at the City University of Hong Kong are changing the game with a wireless soft e-skin. It doesn't just detect motion, it recreates it. One person moves, and the other feels it in real time. The tech relies on flexible actuators that convert physical gestures into electronic signals, transmitted via Bluetooth to another identical skin. When received, those signals turn into vibrations that mimic the real movement. It's tactile communication reimagined. This could mean remote hugs, real-time touch feedback in long-distance relationships, or even hands-on rehab exercises without being in the same room. Beyond personal connection, it has serious potential in medicine, education, and virtual environments. The line between physical and digital isn't just blurring, it's dissolving. So, what do you think? How are people going to use it? Number 7. Sound wave firefighting. Water can't always save you. In wildfires that rage across forests and suburbs, traditional tools often fail. But what if you could fight fire with sound? That's exactly what engineers have started doing, developing acoustic fire suppression systems that use low-frequency sound waves to knock out flames by disrupting their oxygen supply. This isn't a sci-fi stunt. By targeting the combustion triangle, heat, fuel, and oxygen, these devices literally shake fire apart. No chemicals, no water damage, just focused pressure that starves the flame. DARPA toyed with the concept in 2008, but inventors like Robertson and Tran pushed it forward by using vortex rings to carry sound long distances with minimal energy loss. Add drone tech, thermal sensors, and live monitoring, and you've got the blueprint for a real wildfire defense system. Sound can travel where fire trucks can't. It's clean, smart, and fast. All right, guys, now let's talk about Number 6. Brain-reading robots. Reading thoughts used to be comic book territory. Now, it's a lab-tested reality. At the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology, scientists have built a system that translates brain waves into robotic control. Specifically designed for tetraplegic patients, the setup uses a brain-computer interface and a robotic arm, allowing users to perform tasks with nothing but their thoughts. Here's how it works. The patient wears an EEG cap, which reads electrical brain activity. Those signals go into a machine learning algorithm that controls the robotic arm. If the arm veers off course or gets too close to something, the system recognizes the disconnect and corrects it without needing verbal commands, and it learns. The more a patient uses it, the smarter it gets, adjusting to their brain's unique signals. We're not just talking about movement, we're talking about restoring agency. This tech is bridging the space between body and brain, and that's not just innovation, it's liberation. Number 5. Hydrogen fuel cells. While everyone's hyped on batteries, hydrogen fuel cells are quietly gunning for the energy throne. These things can power vehicles without burning a drop of fossil fuel, just clean electricity and a puff of water vapor. With refueling times that rival gas stations, fuel cell vehicles solve the range and wait time issues that plague EVs. But this tech isn't just about cleaner cars. In remote towns and rural regions, hydrogen could power entire off-grid microgrids using only water and surplus solar or wind. Imagine small cities running carbon neutral, with hydrogen doing the heavy lifting behind the scenes. Even better, hydrogen can be produced, stored, and piped just like natural gas, making it a game changer for storing renewable energy and transporting it over long distances. Still, challenges like cost, infrastructure, and electrolyzer tech stand in the way. But if the pieces click, hydrogen won't just support the green transition, it might carry it. Number 4. Xenotransplantation. The idea of putting a pig's heart in a human used to sound like science fiction or a nightmare. But it's real, and it's happening. Xenotransplantation is the transplanting of animal organs into humans, and it's no longer theoretical. So far, 2 people have received genetically modified pig hearts. One lived for months, the second, still being monitored. This isn't plug-and-play surgery. Scientists first edit out pig genes that trigger immune rejection, then splice in human genes to improve compatibility. The heart must not only beat, it has to belong. The risks are real, the science is complicated, but the need is undeniable. Thousands die every year waiting for organs. If xenotransplants can reliably work, they'll rewrite the rules of medicine. We're not there yet, but we're close. The next time you hear about a transplant, it might not come from a donor list. Number 3. Gene therapy. This therapy doesn't treat symptoms. It goes straight to the source. Instead of patching issues with drugs or surgery, it rewrites the genetic code itself. Scientists introduce healthy genes into cells, correcting the mutations that cause disease. For some patients, it's not just treatment. It's a second chance at life. Early successes include breakthroughs in rare disorders like spinal muscular atrophy and congenital blindness. But the potential stretches far beyond. Genome editing tools like CRISPR allow for precise gene changes, opening doors to custom-built therapies tailored to each patient. Of course, it's not risk-free. The tech is young, expensive, and highly regulated. But as research moves fast, we're approaching a world where diseases no longer mean lifelong struggle. Gene therapy isn't science fiction. It's science catching up to ambition. Number 2, graphene. It looks harmless, just a sheet of carbon 1 atom thick. But don't let the size fool you. This material is a monster. It's 200 times stronger than steel, see-through, bendable, and conducts electricity better than copper. And it's thinner than your average air molecule. Yeah, that thin. It's not just a material, it's a cheat code for engineering. Huawei is already using it in phones to manage heat. Ford slipped it into their cars to reduce noise and add strength. It's popping up in electronics, aerospace, medical tech, and even energy storage. This isn't just hype. It's happening. But here's the catch. It's still tricky and expensive to manufacture at scale. For all its superpowers, graphene needs the right tech and a lot of patience to go mainstream. Still, researchers are betting big. If they crack mass production, this wonder material could become the backbone of future tech. It's not just strengthily strong, it's smart, and it's just getting started. Number 1, floating dairy farm. Picture this, cows on a boat, casually grazing on water. Sounds like a bad children's book, right? Except it's real, and it's happening in the harbor of Rotterdam. This floating dairy farm is the first of its kind, and it's weirdly brilliant. 32 cows, fed on leftover potato peels and city grass clippings, produce milk and a whole lot of manure, and it all happens on a self-contained 2-level platform. The waste is handled by an automated scraper system and then turned into fertilizer for local parks and sports fields. The milk is collected by robots, processed on board, and delivered straight to nearby stores. No trucks, no long supply chains, no sprawling land use. Is it scalable? Maybe not everywhere. It's expensive, and not every city has the appetite for floating cows. But as sea levels rise and farmland disappears, this experiment is asking the right questions. What does future farming look like? It might just float. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon in the next one.